the original crew, they're inside eating breakfast. They're going to obviously hear this now and see the train moving. They're going to run outside, get up from their breakfast, and run out and see their train pulling away.
And this is where we get introduced to, I think, one of the most fascinating characters I've ever heard in any war story ever.
Yeah.
And it's, listen, that's an overstatement. I probably shouldn't say that. He's not like a Roy Benavidez. Roy Benavidez is just an unstoppable force that did the incredible and in the most terrifying of situations. This guy today, it's almost like, I've talked before about the iron will mentality that the North seems to develop once Ulysses S. Grant starts really becoming successful and things start happening for the North. This guy today that you're getting ready to talk about has an iron will to me, and I don't want to throw too much praise towards him because he even though he's a civilian, he's still he supports the Confederacy, right? And the things they were fighting for. So I don't want to throw too much praise at him. He's an enemy of the United States. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, dude, like his qualities are qualities that you would want to emulate.
Right.
He's mind blowing to me, and I try so hard not to make him the main character in my mind, but it's hard not to.
Yeah, I think of him as the main character in my mind. Also, he's kind of like the unsung hero, even though like in this particular story we have our Union guys are the raiders, so they kind of seem like the invaders, and then this guy seems to be like the unsung hero because of his incredible efforts going forward.
So what's his name?
So with all of that being said, we have to introduce the conductor. His name is William Fuller, and him along with two others, they're on the platform and they're looking at what maybe they didn't know what it was called at the time, but they're looking at the great locomotive chase unfolding right before their eyes. And so he's like, okay, there goes my train. Now I got one major problem. I don't have anything to chase this train with. So he does nothing less than hop off that platform and start running running along that track, going for that train and not giving a crap about anything.
Listen, I think Jocko would call that extreme ownership. Jocko Willink would call that extreme ownership, right?
Is right.
He's, there goes my train. I'm not going to let them take my train.
Right.
I don't have a vehicle to chase them with. That's all right. I got two legs.
Yep.
That's just, I mean, dude, that's crazy because even though these trains aren't hauling butt, they can 15, 20 miles an hour.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Thinking about trying to catch it on foot is crazy.
Yeah. So those Confederate sentries, they fired some shots at the train to no effect. He's got no telegraph line in Big Shanty, so he can't put word up ahead. And this guy's a very experienced conductor, so he knows that there's no other option other than giving chase to it. So,
well, I tell you this,
he did his best there.
The next stop that train is planning on making is going to be in Kingston. It has another little train station about 30 miles away from Big Shanty.
Right.
That Joker's looking at a long trip.
Yeah. That's a hike.
Now, that being said, it's not like the train is going to just be full steam ahead.
Well, they got to probably keep it on schedule.
Well, they got to keep it on schedule, but they also have the goal of destroying the track, crippling this Western and Atlantic Railroad in any way they can, right? So that's tearing up track, burning bridges, creating obstacles, whether that's felling trees, whatever they can do.
Telegraph lines, cut them up.
Like you had just mentioned before, cutting telegraph lines, all that stuff. And so the guys, the Federal raiders on board the general are actively doing that between Big Shanty and Kingston. But I'm curious to see just how crazy this chase gets for the conductor.
For the conductor. So
he's it's just crazy, man.
So out of the three of them, there's three of them giving chase. And so Fuller, what he does is he comes across this repair crew along the way. And they have a small pole car. And this pole car is literally what you think it is. It's like you stand on it and you push your way along with a pole.
Not like one of those ones you would see in the old-timey like cartoons where they have the it almost looks like a seesaw handle where you just go up and down.
That might be fun for a little while.
Yeah.
But
a pole car, you're pushing that heavy car and yourself with a pole on the ground. It looks like I would imagine it to look like punting. The thing that how they do like their, it's like canoeing over in England, you know. But instead of using a paddle, they just use a long pole and push off the bottom of the river or lake or whatever they're on, you know.
It kind of made me think of like the boats in Italy that are or where
like that
France,
too. They do the same thing.
Same
They push
thing,
they push with a pole instead of like paddle, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what comes to mind when I think of this pole car.
So this gets his feet off the ground, and these guys are these three Georgians. They're continuing along, and of course along the way they discover not power lines. They discover telegraph lines that actually are cut, and they're looking at it because maybe they thought, you know, maybe somebody stole this train, maybe it's a desertion, maybe whatever. But now I think at this point what he's realizing is he's dealing with professionals, because every time they come across a broken track, they got to pick up this pole car and guide it over the broken part of the track onto the new part.
How heavy do you think that thing was, man? It can't be light. It can't be light.
I'm sure they're pushing this thing as hard as they can through dirt.
To pick it up and carry it to the, you know, across like a chunk of track that's been torn up.
Put it back on the rail.
Oof.
So they're doing this, but Fuller, being the man that he is, he knows if he just keeps going, there's another train up ahead, and there's a small engine that he knows of by the name of Yona, and up at the next station. Now, this train, it's a locomotive nonetheless, but it's not anything in comparison to what they're chasing.
Yeah.
But it is also another step up from the pole car.
It's better than a pole car. I would have
huge.
to agree with that.
So they get into this next little station, you know, before Kingston, of course, and they're going to fire this thing up, and they get on the Yona and they start giving chase. And from where they are, they got about 14 miles to Kingston.
Okay. So they went 15 miles by foot and pole car, a combination of the two.
Yep.
That's a man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's motivated right there, dude. That's what I'm saying. Extreme ownership. That guy wants his train back.
All the way.
It's mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like anything. So like, I feel like in this whole entire morning, it's like raining. So it's going to be raining off and on. This guy, he's going to just be out there chasing after his train in the rain. So why wouldn't it be?
Dude, that'd be like you know how in Rocky you got the motivational like training sequences?
Yeah.
Could you imagine like a motivational sequence just following Fuller throughout this chase?
Yeah.
He's running through the rain. He's moving pole cars, commandeering trains, getting off those trains and running. Like, dude, it would be you'd be like, this guy's freaking hard as nails.
Yeah.
You know?